Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Otaku Nightly Hour. Today, we're gonna go
You,
over one of the last few deades that we have, which is the Tsundere. And I don't know, Tsundere sometimes it's a hit and miss for some people. How do you feel about that, Raptor?
first off, let's start with some introductions and get those out of the way. Hi. Um, you sound a little more energetic than when you did before you started recording. Just putting that out there. You're
Love.
like, all right, let's get this done. Three, two, one. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Like,
No,
where'd this shit come from?
cause my hand decided to cramp up. I have, like, my hand was being really crampy because of my accident and such like that. When I got into the car accident and stuff like that, so my hand's been kind of
Right.
on and off and everything. But anyway, so moving back to today's episode,
Tsundere.
tsundere is a topic that kind of goes on and off of whether you do or don't like it and such. It's not exactly like a dividing factor. It's more of a mixed bag of whether or not you do or don't like it. Because for some people, they kind of take Tsundere as either kind of pushy to kind of endearing.
And we'll go over like what some of those like
Dividing
thought processes
traits
are.
and stuff like that and everything. So let's look up what I should have actually done
The
this.
definition?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure like
I can
what.
define it.
Uh
Because I already had it pulled up here.
huh. Thank you.
So, as someone put it, a tsundere is a character archetype commonly seen in anime and manga who initially presents as a cold, hostile, or uninterested towards their love interest, but gradually becomes more open and affectionate as they develop feelings for them. The term tsundere is a combination of two Japanese words, sunsun meaning aloof or prickly, and dere dere meaning love-struck or affectionate.
I feel like cold isn't really the correct word. I feel like it's a harsher exterior because of the fact that
It's
if
harsher than cold.
yeah, because cold is kind of like the kudere situation and everything.
I feel like I mean it might apply to some tsundere characters, and we can get into that like in a bit.
No, of course, of course. I think a better term would have been harsh, but that's mostly because like the very classical trope of a tsundere like is the line like it's not like I like you or anything, baka.
Right.
That's usually the line and such that most tsundere tend to be memed on and everything. And I think it describes it very well because tsunderes are very prideful. They're the most prideful, I believe, of the dere types, if that makes
They
sense.
hold immense pride.
Yeah. I mean, okay, there's also the Himedere, who is also kind of prideful, but they're more like princess prideful, like please bow down to me and stuff. Versus Tsundere,
That's a yeah.
sometimes Tsunderes, at least for the female type of Tsundere, they're seen as tomboyish and such like that. Have you noticed that?
Let me pull up some notable examples. Hmm. Yes, I see. Vegeta is definitely a tomboy.
But no, what I mean is that like what I mean is that like lately with newer anime and such like that, if we have a tsundere and such, they fall into the archetype that the stereotype specifically is that they're the tomboy who really shouldn't have like crushes on guys and stuff like that. It's like cuz I'm more manly than any other girl. I can't really be girly and stuff like that. And there's a difference between that and being tsundere. In a sense, it just happens to be. I feel that they're put together a lot. You know?
They're not mutually exclusive, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. So let's talk about the first example here, which is a very classical example. It's Taiga from Toradora, and personally, she is very tsundere-ish. Okay.
So this is the part I wanted to talk about when I
Mm-hmm.
like when the description kind of meant like, cold at some points, cold, hostile, or uninterested.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, she wasn't gunning for our main boy. She was gunning for someone else. She saw our main character like and was just kind of like cold towards him. She's like, "You like my friend, and I like yours. So let's just keep this mutual between us, and we're not gonna get into each other's lives."
No,
And
and
then they
then
proceeded to get into each other's lives.
yeah, and then like even so, in the very early episodes of Toradora, Taiga tries to act very friendly and cute towards her intentional love interest at the time,
Right.
which is actually kind of funny because later down the line of the series and stuff like that, is it the male or is it Taiga that realizes that they love each other?
I feel like it was just kind of like a bit of both of a realization that just kind of slowly came to them.
Mm. And then like she she slowly kind of tripped in. I don't feel like she's a tsundere, but that's mostly because we're kind of fitting our definition to she acts like kind of harsh uh towards the intended love interest and stuff like that that she's striving for versus what we as the audience see as no, this is who you're supposed to get together with.
Yeah, I mean, like I can just quickly like read up like a brief little bio about her.
Mhm.
She's a small but fierce. You got to remember those are the key words. High school student who initially dislikes the protagonist Ryuji, but eventually develops feelings for him.
Yeah.
But other than that, like she's known for her short temper, aggressive behavior. But then, like like as the
I
series
mean, she
goes
was
on,
described as the palm top tiger, wasn't she?
yes, for sure, 100%. That's like her biggest nickname like you could possibly give her.
Yeah.
Before you get like, before you have a lights out situation.
Yeah, before you get freaking punched in from under the chin and knocked out. Seriously, how does anyone's teeth survive that? I'm just saying, teeth wise, you guys probably have a rattled head, or anything, or like I don't know.
No, no,
Eh,
no, it's fine. It's just a mild concussion. You're fine.
eh.
Just walk it off.
But I feel like okay, Taiga is by definition fitting the category, but she misses the mark because of the where her love goes before it gets redirected.
So you're saying like she's a good stand-in for a tsundere, but she's not like she doesn't really
Exact.
fit the bill 100%.
Yeah, because she misses the dere part, which is that it's towards the love interest and stuff. At least at the beginning.
I get what you mean. Yeah,
Mm.
I can kind of see that, but I don't know. I feel like she definitely fits the criteria 100%.
Mm,
It's just not applied all at once.
yeah, and such like that.
That's what
And
you're saying.
yeah, it's kind of a weird take because Taiga's always considered like, she's tough like a majority of
Aggressive.
the time and such like that. Versus like what we've been seeing is that like it's exclusive. Like for example, I'm gonna keep bringing up the Yandere example and stuff like that.
That is the yeah.
Like we spoke that the yandere has to act a certain way because it's towards the love interest and stuff. She's not murdering
Right.
everyone because she thinks they're cute or
Out of
she's in love with
nowhere, right?
everyone and everything. Versus Taiga is the other way where she is basically kind of rude and harsh to everyone except for the well, at least in the first half of the series, her intended love interest.
And her friend.
Yeah.
Other than those two.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like it's that weird like kind of like little glint where it's like is it because of the direction that it goes?
I can definitely see that being a thing.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a gray area cuz if we leave out the tiny like nitpick of like the love wasn't really directed towards the intended love interest at the end and such like that, she is a tsundere. It's just that little smudge there.
I think it's just a little smug she has.
I mean, she is smug. Let's be fair.
I've seen that one meme. I love it.
All right.
Next one.
Um. So the next one,
Oh,
Kaguya from Love Is War, is definitely a tsundere, but at the same time,
is she though?
I feel she's more of a himedere.
I can definitely see that. I
Well,
can
because
definitely see that. Why is she even on this list? Get her out of here. Get her out of here now.
okay. The reason why I brought her up was because like Himedere isn't really a topic that people really bring up and everything, so that they often kind of just like meld her together to the Tsundere. And the Himedere and Tsundere are very similar in terms of sense because again, they're the two dere types that are based off of being prideful and everything. But here's the main difference: Tsundere is not prideful because of like, oh, you should bow down to me and stuff like that. No, no, no. She's prideful
Right.
because I have this tough exterior and everything. I gotta be the like the tougher one. I can't show that I have emotions and feelings and stuff like that. That's the whole pride part of it. Versus Kaguya sees herself as like, I'm the rich one. He should be confessing to me and stuff like that. Clearly I'm the smarter one. Everything la 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 kind of thing.
She acknowledges that she's not the smartest one because he's always like top dog when it comes to grades. So
Yeah,
she's like, all right, she's like, she's stupidly smart, but she's really wealthy, so he should probably confess to her and like, basically beg for some money.
yeah, but the problem is that one gets confused a lot with the Tsundere quite a bit because they kind of like melded two together thinking it's the same thing, but it's not. The Himedere and the Tsundere are very different cases. So that's why I added this here as like to clear things up what the difference is between the two.
You
So
basically brought her into here just to like promote like another Dede we're not even talking about
not
yet.
yet, but I wanted to bring that example because she shows up in a lot of Tsundere lists that don't understand that a Himedere exists.
I think I think another reason for that is kind of the similar situation with Taiga. Is like, yeah, she acts very tsundere, but she's not really being aggressive to her main love interest. She's like, at best, she's being gentle or apathetic at times.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when it comes like to the other members of the student council, that poor dude who's always playing like on his Game Boy,
He's
she just
just trying to
absolutely
vibe.
thrashes him. He
Look,
was
he's
trying
trying
to
to vibe.
vibe. He says a few words when he like some people aren't supposed to be in the room, and then he just kind of gets beaten up for it.
He just wants to. He just want to play his video games. He don't get to go do that at home.
Okay, honestly, why in Japan do people still play with the PSP? That's my question.
I thought it
Or the
was.
PS Vita.
I thought they liked it. That's why.
Yeah, but like the fact that it's still in fashion, it's still in trend, and they still make games for it. It's
Mm.
just jarring to me. Like the rest of the world's moved on. Everyone's like already on the Switch. Even the principal in the in the manga was like playing Pokemon Go.
I think it's for classic reasons. It's like how people now these days they like to have the retro
Nintendo
games,
64.
like retro games and stuff like that. Like I kid you not, I have so many people coming to work and asking for like certain things that I do not sell anymore. Like how many people ask for parts for the PS3 of all things, and I'm like, just get a PS5. It plays the
You guys still
PS.
have like a Game Boy?
Just play. Just get a PS5. It works. It plays both PS 5, PS4, and PS3 games.
Does it now?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing because that wasn't the case for the PS3 when I got it. I was like, yeah, sorry, we don't play PS2 games. I was like, what?
Yeah, but the PS5 they fixed that. Okay. So sorry, I'm not advertising for work.
Buy it now.
But okay, so now we're moving on to the actual other one that I wanted to talk about. That is for sure a tsundere, and that's Kyo from Fruits Basket. My boy.
Never heard of them.
He,
Explain.
okay, so Fruits Basket is an anime where it's very normal. It's your regular slice of life romance,
This is Japan we're
except
talking about. Would define normal.
except there's one magical element. The Soma family is blessed with the curse of the zodiac animals,
Well,
meaning
that's not
that
really a blessing now, is it?
blessing. So basically,
They're blessed with the curse.
every member
Hmm.
every member with the Soma family is possibly given the spirit of a zodiac animal, aka like the
Possibly.
rat, the ox, the rabbit, the dragon, and such like that. And they basically can't really move on with their normal life per se because of one tiny little issue. If they get hugged by the opposite sex that's outside of the family, they will turn into the animal.
You know, I think that's just like a small little impediment. It's no big deal.
It makes getting married very difficult.
Which is why you should probably break the ice like initially.
So, but Kyo's is one of the interesting cases because I don't know if this is actually true within the zodiac or if this is just exclusive to Fruits Basket. But Kyo is the spirit of the cat, and the spirit of the cat was the one zodiac animal that didn't get put into the official zodiac because he got tricked by the rat to go to a different direction, or even just like straight up miss the banquet, and thus he's been disregarded or seen as like the one that cared the least for quote unquote God. So his curse
Sus.
is much more worse than the others because he has the added on thing of that if he isn't given a bracelet that's been blessed by Buddha or the like, he will turn into a monster. A horrible, horrible monster.
That is?
You want to see how he looks like?
No, explain.
um, on one hand, it's fascinating. On the other hand, it's grotesquely kind of thing and stuff like that. But anyway, because that
But what
is
about the audience member that cannot see?
I will post a picture right now for everyone to see and stuff like that. That is Kyo's true form, which for some reason to me looks like kind of like a different kind of monster. I don't know. But like yeah. So Kyo is a monster in true form. If not, it just turns into a regular orange cat. Now, the romance side of things is that main protagonist
Main protagonist Kun.
no Chan
Main
Toru
protagonist Chen.
Toru Honda, she is the love interest between Yuki and Kyo. Pardon me, I had sweet tea before I had I got a little burpy. So Toru is basically the main love interest. And Kyo, while embarrassed, he wants to say that he likes her, but he wants to overcome his shortcomings first
I
of
can
all
hear your
before
music. It's
anything
amazing.
and stuff like that. And I don't
It
know.
sounds
I
like hopes
think
and dreams.
I think like Kyo is one of the main examples
This thing
of
looks like a knockoff version of Naruto's Nine-Tailed Beast. Just, if it did more drugs.
Oh god. I feel like Kyo is one of the types that is very prideful and such like that. He wants to beat up Yuki, beat him in a fight like literally and stuff like that. He gets embarrassed around Toru because Toru is quote unquote too pure for this world. And um
That's adorable.
and he doesn't want to like quote unquote ruin her by hanging around with her because he doesn't see the value in himself and stuff like that. But then whenever she does, like not exactly come on to him, it's more like acknowledges that he is a good person and stuff like that. He gets extremely embarrassed. It's like starts yelling. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? All that bullshit and everything. And I thought it's very cute. That is very Tsundere type because he's very prideful, he gets embarrassed very easily and stuff like that, and immediately goes towards violence.
Especially when they call him out on it. Yeah, I feel like that fits the bill nice and square.
Yeah, that is like the
That
basic
is the
terms.
basic.
That is the basic single down skeleton of what you want as a tsundere and stuff like that. There's nothing more to that and everything. And for some people will look at Kyo and say husbando material. Me personally, I think he's too angry for my type.
Amazing.
I don't know. I don't like the ones that yell a lot and everything and such like that. I don't like it no more. Like I thought he was cute
No
at
more.
first. I thought he was cute at first, and then he got together with Toru, and I thought that was even cuter because he softened a little bit for her, which is good character development, period, and everything. But then, like, I just got annoyed for every time he got angry and such like that, and everything. But I am not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to whatever like good moments that Kyo has with Toru. Just not for me, thanks.
It's not
He
for you.
he's on my husbando list. He's just not super high if that makes sense. He's not. He doesn't make my top 10, sadly, out of 100.
Hmm. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. I cannot speak for this one all that much, other than
I
like
don't
maybe
remember
a few
writing this
clips,
down.
other than a few clips here and there. But do you
I'm blaming you for
know?
putting this here.
Do you know if Vegeta from Dragon Ball would be considered a tsundere?
Yes, I know the Muffin Man.
Do you know Vegeta from Dragon Ball?
Yes.
Would you say he's a
Needless
tsundere?
to say, a few of our friends know him very well.
But would you say he's a tsundere? Like based on his interactions with Bulma, his wife.
Yes, and this is the part where it comes back around again. He is like oftentimes very cold towards her, and I mean like she knows like what he's all about. She knows he's a tsundere, so she calls him out on it. He'll just kind of like respond like in an aloof manner, like "Oh, don't talk to me," or "I don't know what you're talking about."
And I
But
think
I know for a fact in the non-canon section, I want to say in GT, they have a daughter, and the daughter just like Vegeta just being nonchalant about just growing out a mustache. He was kind of like prideful of that. His daughter goes up to him and was like that. Like what? That is an ugly thing. Shave it. And he was like so defeated. He was like he's never been more vulnerable before in his life, being told by his only daughter about this thing. So
but
I mean like he's not like an uncold like unfeeling creature. That shows that he has emotion. He just really likes to put on that stone wall.
and I think that's slightly also based on how he was raised as a Saiyan as well and stuff like that. Like they're the most like they're powerful creatures and such like that. People should
Not
fear
really.
us, all that kind of thing, or something.
They can be really strong. Yeah, they basically come from a planet where they just like to go out, raid other planets, destroy them because they get paid to do it.
Hmm.
Or I guess they get told by Frieza to do that. So they're like, hey, well, we like destroying things. And I mean, we get ordered to do it. So I don't really see the harm in doing that. So let's go do that. It's
Okay.
gonna be fun, guys. Let's go.
Okay, but then like I think Vegeta's an interesting case because for once we have a character on our list that already technically achieved their love interest and such like that. To the point they got married, and yet here they are in their relationship, and he's still technically a tsundere after all that. Because that's something that that we never brought up is like after the relationship is developed, do they change from being their data type or do they continue to be their data type? And I think that is something that goes more in line with their core personality than anything, that it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to change too hard and such like that, much like though like when we talked previously about our dandere episode, that some characters go from kudere to dandere
Yeah.
for good because they got exposed to better relationships and
Emotions.
stuff like
They
that.
have feelings now.
Or they got more
Um,
expressive and like, do you feel like sometimes some deres like tsundere they don't really change after achieving the relationship?
I feel like they don't necessarily need to change once they realize their feelings and once they get into the relationship.
Hmm.
Because I mean like I feel like it's during the part about like the love and the romance part that really defines their dere type.
We don't really get to see too much of that between Vegeta and Bulma, I'm gonna be fair though.
I'll be honest, I think it was just like a one night stand and then like boom, they're just together.
They got baby.
And they got baby. Yeah.
They had Trunks.
They had Trunks. And then Trunks like kind of almost somewhat died and Vegeta was like, "My baby boy."
No, wasn't it like for the movie where it's like Trunks, that's a girl's name and such like that. Who would name
That was in a bridge series. Yes.
that?
First of all, that wasn't the legit movie. We were watching the abridged. Oh, Team 4 Star, you mad lads.
anyway, anyway, but yeah, no, like Vegeta's one of the rare cases that like even we get to glimpse after the relationship's already been achieved and stuff like that, if the data fades away or continues on after achieving said relationship. So yeah, in some cases the data types is really like tied into their core personality rather than like just because they're in love kind of thing.
For sure, 100%.
Haruhi from the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is our next entry, and I'm gonna be fair.
I'm not.
I
I remember nothing about that.
I don't think. Okay, how do I put it? She kind of is, but in not in the sense of like it's not like I have feelings for you, Baka. More like abrasive kind of sense of like feelings. What the hell is that? Come on, you gotta help me do this cool thing first.
Yeah, she's aloof,
I think it's more like
airheaded. Romance is not her first thing she goes to
yeah,
consciously.
yeah. Oh, I don't even know what's going on consciously in her either.
Consciously, unconsciously, who knows? But the point is, she wants to like walk around, have fun, and expose the mysteries
she
of
made
the
she made
world.
everyone go into a summer vacation time loop just so she could finish her fantasy of what to do, like what is stereotypically all the anime summer activities, until they figured out that the actual solution of what she wanted was to do the homework together.
Amazing.
Literally, she had them on a time loop for who knows how long. No, I know how long. It was for an entire season.
It was written.
So the
Uh,
same couple of episodes were being repeated over and over again for a whole season.
yes.
Can you imagine how much time people wasted watching an entire season of the
Do you know how
same
much money they
episodes?
saved on animations for doing that?
No, they had to draw different perspectives from the same thing.
Slightly different perspectives.
Well, like okay, so from one perspective could be from inside the group circle, and then another episode where it's in a different time loop is from outside, like far away, looking at the group from a distance and such like that. And then another one could be from like the top angle and such like that, or anything. They had to redraw all these all over and over again. Literally, the only thing that ever changed was the voice act. That never changed was the voice acting. They
The
saved
only
money
thing
on
that
that.
really changed was the voice acting. Hold on a second.
The only thing that never changed was the voice acting. You better believe it that they saved money on that one.
Yeah, at the very least on that. But yeah, she's not typically considered a tsundere.
I think it's
She can
mainly
be
because the
demanding. She can be short-tempered,
I think
but
it's
she's not
mainly
really.
I feel like it's mainly because the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya doesn't really dwell on it all that much, you know?
Yeah, she's not.
It's not the
I wouldn't.
focus.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's really like tsundere material.
She's just pushy. Period.
Well, it says here her personality is often depicted as eccentric or unpredictable. Those are very fitting terms. And she is known for her desire to seek out new experiences and unusual phenomena.
I feel like she has ADHD to be fair.
Listen, that may be the case. She may be on the spectrum, but like, who's to say, right? It's anime.
All right. So, this one, isn't this one yours?
Yes.
I don't know how to say this name. You go ahead, take it from here.
I'm just gonna quickly pull this up real
The
quick.
pronunciation guide.
I know how to say it, but I just want to make sure, like,
Luis Francois Leblanc de la
Francois.
Via Francois. I don't know.
Okay, let me try. Louis Francois Leblanc de la Valliere from The Familiar of Zero. Basically, uh, Louise. Louise is all you really gotta go by.
Okay. But tell me, what's the story here? How does this incorporate Tsundere?
Okay, well, first of all, she is for sure 100% like one of the prime examples of being a tsundere. At the beginning of the series, she's like, very harsh and critical towards her familiar that she summoned. Saito, some poor dude from like, modern day Japan, just got summoned. I wouldn't say isekai, he just got summoned to another world against his will. And she's like, this is my familiar? All right, well, I summoned it, therefore it has no human rights. And he's like, I object. I object. She's like, shut up, you're my familiar. He's like, okay, well,
Okay.
that's how it's gonna be.
Like I all I can imagine is just a really prideful a prideful guy where it's like how can you do this to me? It's like and it's like you're
Nah,
my
he's your
familiar.
typical like I don't even want to say otaku. He's like your typical like Japanese dude.
I don't know, but then it's just like you're my familiar, deal with it. And it's like okay.
He's like, well, I mean, I'd rather not, because I mean, like, you're kind of tiny and petite. You don't got a whole lot of curves going on. She just does not take kindly to that. But I mean, like, as the series goes on, Saito and Louise slowly, well, no, actually, specifically Louise, she begins to develop these romantic feelings for him because, I mean, he, like, throughout the series, you have the typical, like, oh, main character that's a dude slowly shows off, like, his cool or gentle side or, like, the side that the main female lead just finds attractive. And she's like, oh, I'm falling in love with this guy. And eventually, like, she just becomes less of a tsundere and more of just more of the lovey-dovey part of the tsundere. But I mean, like, yeah, she definitely fits like a lot of the check boxes like that you would find with the tsundere archetype. Her initial coldness and hostility towards like the main dude, her tendency to become flustered or embarrassed whenever like she's trying to express her feelings, her thanks whenever she's saved. And even like her, like like the point where she just kind of like eventually falls in love with him, and she becomes more loving as a result. She softens out.
She softens out, but this is one of those cases that the tsundere turns to kind of like, would you say
More
like
of
a
the
dandere or a dededede?
So I mean, she definitely has some problems expressing her love once she is in love, much like a tsundere, but she's not gonna straight up just like deck him in the schnoz just because she's embarrassed anymore.
Violence is also a key thing that
Violence
happens.
is never the answer. It is the solution.
Nah, but like, yeah. So one of the things that Cinderella's tend to do a lot is resort to violence and everything. It's funny because physical
It's
comedy,
not funny.
physical comedy is fine.
And that's, I think, one of the dividing points we're gonna get to in a bit. But first of all, we gotta finish up this last person here.
All right, and the last one is Asuka Langley Soryu from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Would you elaborate on this? Because I'm not a mecha fan. I'm gonna be fair. I don't know too much about mecha.
I cannot even begin to describe what happens in this series.
Well, just the character. Just the character. Let's focus on the character.
Uh, for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the whole weird timey-wimey time reset, parallel dimension, alternate timeline things that happen with the Neon Genesis like 2.0 and 3.0 and 4.0. I know however many point ohs and reboots and alternate stories they have. you, I think can slowly like piece together outside of like the first season or like the first running of the first timeline or whatever. Um, yeah, she's a good like tsundere character because I mean like at the beginning of the series, she's aggressive, dismissive, and just straight up ready to fight against the poor boy Shinji. I mean, she often like mocks him, makes fun of him because he's like weak and he cries whenever he tries to get in the robot. But I mean, like somehow, some way, as to see, and like here's the thing though, she likes this other guy. Like Shinji has like this one like drunk older sister figure that just takes care of him. She kind of has someone similar, and she's crushing on him like real hard. I can't remember why she stopped falling in love with them, other than I guess it's been a while since I've seen their series. But I'm pretty sure the dude probably dies at some point. She doesn't take it too well, and I mean, like, there's no one left to turn to except for that poor boy Shinji. So she's like, might as well, right? I'm assuming that's what happened. If not, maybe the dude, like, maybe she realizes that the dude likes the drunk older sister person, and sees them getting together, and she's like, "Oh man, I better give him my chances and move on to someone else." Oh hey, look, there's that loser Shinji over there. Let's try him. But whichever way it happens, because too many different ways to go about it, and I cannot remember any of it. She begins to fall in love with him. She just gradually, warms up to the idea,
I
and she
don't know.
becomes
This feels like a really hot, like speed run escalation to everything. I'm
well.
gonna be
It's
fair.
the whole part about the world ending, and then like the people get converting into dreams or whatever because of the angels. I mean, I'd say I'm not even gonna go like I just cannot get into any of the other like alternate stories. We need Fern for that. He can give you a
Yeah, we
convoluted
need Crow for that.
chart.
We need Crow.
Yeah, but I mean like overall, she has the characteristic traits you'd see in a tsundere. I mean, coldness, hostility.
Mm.
She also becomes like, flustered and embarrassed whenever she's trying to express herself or give thanks.
Mm.
And she just becomes, much less cold of a person. But she's also like deeply like not messed up. Complex is a good word.
Messed up.
Multifaceted. Yes.
I also wanted to throw this one in before
Oh
we.
right, trauma. Lots of trauma here.
Yeah.
And insecurities. Don't forget the trauma. Wait, hold on a second. It says right here. And yes, more trauma.
I'm gonna say just to throw it in and such like that because I forgot about this character. To be fair, I haven't watched this anime in a long time, but it's definitely also another tsundere, Inuyasha from the apper named Inuyasha. And
I swear I thought you were gonna say Bakugo. I was like, you stop. Leave that at the
no,
door.
no, no. Inuyasha is also technically a tsundere and everything, but I'm gonna be fair. I can't see the line of where it's tsundere to stupid. You know,
I feel like there is a fine and dandy line right there for you to look at.
between stupid and tsundere.
Yes, there is a clear distinction.
Tell me and tell me when is it when he keeps looking up her skirt.
Listen,
These are
I've never seen the series, so I can't tell you. But all I know is that you're just not trying hard enough.
Okay, I'm gonna be fair though. Inuyasha was an old anime, so some of the jokes are kind of not as tasteful as it is now. With
Unless you're a
the
big
boy,
anime fan, in which case the jokes are always tasteful.
but yeah, so Inuyasha's also like an honorable mention tsundere because of the fact that he does not want to admit that he has feelings for Kagome, but that's mostly because he thinks she's a quote unquote stupid woman.
I thought it had something to do with some kind of reincarnation thing. But yeah, I guess that works too.
I mean, to be fair, also because of the fact that he technically has feelings for Kikyo, who's reincarnated into Kagome. So no.
Yeah, well, like that's what I meant. Like, well, like I thought there was some kind of weird reincarnation thing happening, but I guess not. And you're like, no, 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 there is. Okay, well, there's that too. Fate moves the plot along once again.
Now, here's something that I wanted to ask before we close up and everything. So with
We're
Sin,
not closing up near anything. We got a whole lot more discussing to do.
well, because here's the thing, like my issue with the Tsundere and stuff like that is that if the Tsundere is a valid type of dere to have a love interest on and everything, because like there's a for some people don't really like the tsundere because the tsundere is too like abrasive, like they're too mean, they're too rude and stuff like that for their taste and such like that. Would you say that's because of the fact that we've grown into a more generation where people are more sensitive to getting their feelings hurt and such like that? But like for example, you and me, we could like we could call each other like mean things and stuff like that
I'll call the
in
spade a spade. You can't stop me.
but with like like some people now these days they'll like call each other's friends stupid or something like that, but like in a endearing way, if that makes sense
Yes.
and
Yes.
everything. So like, would you say like the tsundere falls under that logic, or are are tsunderes too mean for like the newer animes that are coming out, if that makes sense?
I think they are what they've always just been. And what they've always just been is just something I do not like.
you
I'm not really fond of the whole tsundere character uh trait, and I have like at least what 4 bullet points explaining why.
Okay, what are those bullet points? And then I could try to see if I could like reason with you on those.
Okay. Um Hostile behavior. It
Okay.
can be very off-putting and frustrating for some people, me included, because it's kind of hard to kind of like,
Like a character
empathize with
that's
someone who's like mean to you, who's being like um who just likes to berate you, even
yeah,
if it's
but okay,
part of their
okay.
personality trait.
Okay. But what does that make it any different than like when you call your friend stupid in an endearing way?
I don't call my friends stupid in an endearing way.
But no. You know what I mean? It's like for some people they'll argue that, but then like 2 minutes later they'll look at their friends and it's like, "Hey, stupid."
Hey, yo, stupid, what's up?
You know what I
What's
mean?
going on, Holmes?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm just like kind of like taking that
Because you
double
can
take.
tell with the tone they're giving off. They don't actually mean it. With the Tsundere, like,
Obviously,
it's
there's a.
one thing for them to call you baka, to call you stupid. It's another thing for them to just straight up like deck you in the face just because like, you were like looking at this one other person who just like has a lot of curves going on, and then they don't. And they're like,
I'm
"Yes, I'm
looking
very
at you.
disappointed with you, petty child."
I'm looking at you, Taiga.
Exactly.
but
Exactly. The
but
hostility is there. That's not, like that's that's not a huge plus right off the bat.
also,
That's like a huge negative.
this is a note for the audience and stuff. We say stupid, but we all know what word we're actually thinking of.
Dumb. Exactly.
It starts with them, ends with something else, and I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get demonetized on YouTube. Thanks.
You've been saying a bunch of other words that probably would have gotten you demonetized. I don't know why you're
look,
starting now.
look. I'm already gonna edit those out and stuff like that. I'm saying that like obviously we're saying words that probably will not get demonetized, but people know it's like we're probably meaning something else. But anyway, okay. I could agree with you that for some people they are a little bit too harsh for some tastes and stuff like that. Like for me, for example, going back with Kyo and stuff like that, I like Kyo. I not to say that he isn't a character that I love and everything because I grew up with Kyo. I grew up with Fruits Basket and everything. But I will have to say that the loud, like the volume in which he is and everything, get with the short
Volume
temp.
he is.
He's very short tempered. He yells a lot and such like that. Doesn't really vibe with me all that much with my current taste in my partners and such like
Hmm.
that. So I wouldn't say like he's still on my husbando list, but like I said before, he's not on my top 10.
Yes, I can
Which,
definitely see
if
that.
people are interested, I will reveal some of my husbandos and we will go over them. We'll be here for a while though.
We'll do that next time. Another thing is, another thing people just often like hate on is just basically that like it's a trope. I hate tropes.
Mm.
That's the argument they'll often give. Not for me. I kind of like the tropes every now and then. I love my cliches. Getting isekai is one of them.
I think
Um,
I think what I could understand from people not liking it because it's a trope is that it's very textbook.
oh yeah, I was gonna say the whole like it's not like I like you or anything, Baka. I just cooked this meal for you, like, but not like directly for you, Baka. And I'm like,
I just
okay, I
happen
get
to
it.
make extra.
I just happen to make an extra like 5 portion serving all you can eat buffet sized meal by accident. I was like, okay, now listen here.
Now, when someone throws it on their head and such like that to make it a little bit more interesting and such like that, I would say is a lot better story wise. Like the Tsundere aspect is not their 100% entire personality and stuff like that. Versus some people, like obviously it's the point of the anime and stuff like that. We have Tsunderes because we have like harems and reverse harems and all that
Right.
and such like that. So you gotta like do all the checklists.
You gotta like, fill off the checkbox.
Mm-hmm.
The next one here, but it's kind of this was more of a weak point, but it's just like again with the tropes. Some people find like that whole push and pull dynamic of the Cinderella's to just be emotionally exhausting.
Mm.
Because I mean like they'll just switch between I hate you and like, oh, by the way, I also like got you like an extra like plate of food if you want some, but like I hate you. I was like, okay. Are you like I'm getting mixed signals here. Like you're just switching between like hot and cold. Like do you like are you trying to be a decent person or are you trying to be more than like, friends here? I'm
Yeah,
a little
I
lost.
understand what you mean. I think if the anime was like a romance comedy, this would be fine. But if it's a
Oh, for sure,
more
100%.
but if it's like a more serious anime, kind of like Tokyo Ghoul, Attack on Titan or something like that, like there's high stakes going on and then we have that thrown in and stuff like that. It's kind of like or
You're
like
detracting from the main plot.
or for example like even a more serious anime with a darker romance tone and such like that, that's really like confusing and mixed signally for the main character, if not in a sense the audience perspective, if they're using main protagonist as a surrogate, audience surrogate,
Right.
and such like that. Like it's like saying projecting on further from to like a real life scenario and stuff like that. If someone were actually like this to you and such like that, this is just such confusing signals to read and such like that, and then they expect you to have feelings for them and such like that because oh I've been so nice to them and everything and such like that.
Push and you're gonna pull, and then, like you're
Yeah,
gonna push again.
and it's like what are you supposed to get from this, if anything? It sounds semi manipulative, if that makes sense.
We'll get to that in a bit. It sounds very tedious, and like honestly, if someone was like this to me, I'd be like, okay, I kind of get the feeling that they hate me. They brought me extra food, but I get the feeling they kind of just poisoned the food, or they just didn't care when they made the portions, or they'll be like, I don't like you or anything. Bach. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna give them my chances at romance then, because they just clearly laid out their feelings for me,
Mhm.
even if they maybe didn't really. I'll take it at face value and be like, all right, you say you hate me. I'm never gonna fall in love with you. See ya. But the last point I want to get to is like depending on how the author or like the director tries to make it. If they don't execute it that well, I mean, you just basically have a tsundere that just comes off like as manipulative, abusive, towards the person they like, and that's not a healthy relationship. It is what the cool kids call nowadays a toxic relationship. Yes. It feels toxic in some cases if they don't just handle it right. Because I mean, like, if they if they kind of fail, like trying to make that aggressive behavior, being like like oh just for laughs or like oh ha ha ha, like they did it in such a fun, unique way. It's so funny. If they can't do it that way, it just ends up looking harmful,
No, I
and
understand. I
it really like
understand.
makes you question like, is this what a healthy relationship is supposed to be? Is this what I want out of a relationship? Getting slapped around all day? I mean, for some people, maybe they might enjoy that, but not me. That ain't my cup of tea.
But no, I totally understand what you mean in terms of that. Honestly, it's like it's so it rattles your brain and everything. You don't know what to do and such like that, to the point that like you waste a lot of energy trying to figure it out, to and you just give up altogether and stuff like that. And then they wonder like, why are they giving me attention anymore and stuff like that? Maybe they're no longer interested or anything. And then either A, they just, lose interest as well and stuff like that, or B, you got Yandere on your hands.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so going back to that original point you made, like, are people like nowadays just being like too soft for this type of character development? I think some people just don't want to put up with like, toxic signals.
Hmm.
I think that's what it like boils down to.
I think
I
I think it's just
if
really good writing needs to make it where it's not toxic behavior
It
and
needs to be
everything.
carefully handled.
Yeah, cuz like
Otherwise, you just end up with toxic waste.
yeah, cuz like for example, like I'm going to go back with Kyo and stuff like that. The reason why Kyo is a tsundere that he is not because oh like I have a lot of pride and stuff like that. He literally doesn't see himself all that worthy and such like that. Thus he puts a big wall between himself and anyone that he lets in and such
Typical guy mindset. Yes, yes.
and such like that. So that's why he's very abrasive towards Toru, who kind of accidentally seeps through the wall that he goes in and sees a little bit of what he really is like as a kid. Like his inner child gets seen a little bit. He kind of likes it, but he's not sure why he should like he's ever felt this way, because clearly he's never felt this way before and stuff like that. So his first thought is to say, "Nope, go away."
Huh. I think I'm feeling something. I should go ahead and like, just make it go away or something.
Yeah, because like he doesn't at first. At first, it's mainly because people think that he's just like he's embarrassed or something like that. But then further analysis on it is that he actually just wants to protect her from what he is like what he sees himself as a monster, which is really good writing. And I think,
Not only symbolically, but quite literally.
mm, and on the other hand, you get animes with tsunderes on them and stuff like that are really abrasive and such like that. Like again, Haruhi from The Melancholy of Suzumiya.
It doesn't count.
Well,
Taiga
she,
from Toradora or
yeah,
Louise from The Family of Zero.
yeah, and
Like these two are just straight up like they
kind
feel
of bully.
abusive like
Yeah,
right for like the
they're
first
kind of
chunk
just
of it.
bullies straight up.
You have to get like somehow, some way, you need to look past that abuse and that pain and like the expensive medical bills you probably gotta get through in order to like see what's deep within them. A maiden at heart. And
Yeah, at
sometimes I
least
just feel
Kyo
like that ain't
doesn't
worth it,
take.
Chief.
Yeah, because at least Kyo doesn't take the violence towards Toru. He takes it towards Yuki, who clearly could also fight him back.
At least there's like someone that can go to toe to toe with it.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Which, let's be fair, Yuki has not lost a fight to Kyo.
Amazing. And then like yeah, to sum it up, that's what I don't like about Tsundere. That's exactly why I love Kuderes or Yanderes in some cases
I
because
think
right off
for
of,
me,
yeah,
I think for me, I like Kuderes as well, if not Dededede.
because at least with the Kudere, the worst they can do is just kind of be like, "Oh, thanks," and then like not show emotion about it. They don't just immediately be like, "Oh, stop flirting with me," slap.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Oh, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm processing."
No, I think the worst one would probably be the Himedere, where it's like, "Oh, thank you, you shouldn't have, but thank you for doing it in my honor," kind of stuff. I don't know. That's just me.
Smug. You don't like the smug.
I really don't like smug, but that's because I feel like instead of being grateful and everything, they're like, "Oh, it's expected of you" and stuff like that, and I hate
It's
that.
only natural you would like feel that way, of course.
And I'm just like, no, I really don't. But anyway, that's gonna be a different episode that we'll talk about and everything. So that will clean up
That will be that.
everything that is the tsundere and such. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode, as well as the fact that you guys are tuning in to our Spotify podcast version of our Otaku Nightly Hours. It's basically the same episodes, but now it's for your Spotify playlist that you can listen to on the go. And of course, after all that, like, hit like, subscribe, and then of course share this video with another friend who may be interested in our Otaku Nightly Hour content. And until next time, everyone, you all have a lovely night on this Otaku Nightly Hour. Alright, bye bye!